My Brother's Keeper. Written by Robert Monroe Turner. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved. They came into this world fighting. Frankie arrived first, 2 minutes ahead, already punctual. Johnny followed screaming, as if announcing that rules were never going to be his thing. Identical on the outside, nothing alike within. Frankie made his bed every morning, studied until ink bled through his notebooks, played varsity ball, enlisted in the Marines, married his sweetheart, and built an insurance company into something real. Johnny vanished into the woods with a pocket knife and a mutt named Diesel, learned 3 chords on a pawnshop guitar, and called it an education. He dropped out, joined a band, married twice, divorced twice, and learned to stretch a paycheck the way other men stretch the truth. They loved each other the way only brothers can, deeply, grudgingly, and with a lifetime of ammunition. The call came on a Tuesday. Their mother, Eleanor, was fading 78 years old with a heart that had carried too much worry. Frankie arrived first, of course, suit pressed, sitting at her bedside with a cup of black coffee going cold. Johnny showed up an hour late, guitar case slung over one shoulder, smelling like a Grateful Dead concert. "Late as usual," Frankie said without looking up. "And you smell like weed." Johnny dropped into the chair across from him. "As uptight as you are, brother. Some weed is just what you need." "I don't need that shit." "Boys, please." The voice was thin as paper. Eleanor lay propped against pillows, oxygen tubes curling beneath her nose, eyes still sharp enough to cut through both of them. "I would like to die in peace. Is that too much to ask?" "You were always his golden boy," Johnny hissed. "Perfect grades, perfect life. Dad loved you more and you know it." Frankie's jaw tightened. "Love me more?" "He rode me like a drill sergeant." "You got away with everything!" "That's not punishment, Johnny. That's permission." They went quiet. Shame has a way of shutting mouths that pride keeps open. She beckoned them closer. "My last wish," she whispered, "is that you two would know just once what it's like to walk in each other's shoes. Maybe you'd learn to love and appreciate each other." Eleanor closed her eyes that night, and the brothers sat on opposite sides of her bed, unable to speak. Frankie woke in a studio apartment that smelled like cedar and old vinyl. A guitar leaned against the wall. The fridge held a 6-pack and half a lime. His phone buzzed. "Jam session at the beach. 4 p.m. Bring firewood." Johnny woke in a king-sized bed beside a woman who kissed his cheek and said, "Don't forget Lily's soccer game at 3. A briefcase sat by the door, calendar stacked with meetings, color-coded and ruthless. That first day was chaos. Frankie fumbled through Johnny's world, no schedule, no structure, just open road. He sat on the beach at dusk, toes in sand, fire crackling, someone handing him a guitar. He played badly. Nobody cared. The stars came out and the weed was past, and for the first time in decades, Frankie felt his shoulders drop from his ears. Johnny walked into that insurance office terrified and walked out exhilarated. People listened to him. He made a decision, and it mattered. At 3 o'clock, a little girl ran across a soccer field and jumped into his arms yelling, "Daddy," and something cracked open in his chest that he'd spent 2 divorces trying to keep sealed. They woke the next morning in their own beds, their own lives, blinking at the ceiling. It had been a dream. The same dream. They arrived at the funeral home within minutes of each other. Neither spoke. Then Johnny said, quietly, "I didn't know what it felt like, having someone run to you like that." Frankie swallowed. "I didn't know what it felt like to just sit still." Johnny extended his hand. Frankie took it, then pulled his brother into the kind of hug they hadn't shared since they were boys. "She got her wish," Johnny said. Frankie smiled. "She always did." And for the first time in 40 years, the brothers had nothing left to argue about.